afternoon. Call to order the regular meeting of the Tiki Island City Council on Tuesday, May 14, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the Public Safety Building. Roll call: Telchik here, Neblett
Here.
Kaufman, Cunningham
Here.
Scott
Here.
Walker. Would y'all please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. Election. Number 2, consideration for the action to approve the resolution and order canvassing the returns declaring the results of the general election of the Village of Tiki Island held on May 4th, 2024.
There came on to be considered the returns of an election held on the 4th day of May 2024 for the purpose of electing the hereinafter named officials, and it appearing from said returns duly and legally made that there were cast at said election 262 valid and legal votes, that each of the candidates in said election received the following votes. Charles Tompkins received 57 total votes. Hunter Neblett received 85 total votes. Steve Cunningham received 81 total votes. Gary Kaufman received 39 total votes.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to do a little statement between 2 and 3.
Brandy, do y'all usually approve, you need to approve the resolution?
Oh, okay. Can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We're going to make a little statement here between 2 and 3. The candidate that won third alderman position was declared illegally ineligible to serve on the board. The city determined after the election that he was not registered voter of Tiki Island, which is a legal requirement to serve on the board of aldermen. Tonight I will swear in 2 candidates who are eligible and duly elected to serve on the board. Legal counsel has advised us that the board can either appoint an alderman to serve until the board's decision or a special meeting to November 2024, and both of those shall serve until May of 2025, just 1 year. This will be the board's decision. Any appointment of an alderman or ordering of a special election will be done at an open meeting notice pursuant to the Open Meeting Act. Okay, after that, now we're going to go to number 3. Mayor Telchik to administer the oath of office to Alderman Neblett and Alderman Cunningham as duly elected in the May 4th, 2024 election. Would y'all please stand and take the oath? Okay, I'll read and y'all repeat after me and put your name in where is that. Okay. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I,
in the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I, Hunter Neblett, do solemnly swear
I, Steve Cunningham, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Alderman of the Board of the Village of Tiki Island
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of Alderman of the Board of the Village of Tiki Island
of the state of Texas, and will do my best of my ability to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
of the state of Texas, and will do the best of my ability to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You too.
Citizen comments on agenda items must be on sign-in sheet, limited to 2 minutes.
So why was the candidate disqualified?
It's comments. I just read the statement.
Do what?
I said I just read the statement. It's comments only. What was your comment again?
My question is, why was the candidate disqualified?
I just read it to you. He was not legally registered in the Village of Tiki Island.
Okay, why was that not found?
We're not We're not, yeah.
It's a question, Billy, why was it not found until?
We are in the comments, Steve, not
You
questions.
said agenda item only, that's an agenda item, so I'm discussing the agenda item,
Okay.
okay? So,
It's up to the candidate to make sure that his paperwork's right, not the village of Tiki Island. You want to join in on
Yes,
that?
that's accurate.
so she's not responsible for checking those applications.
She makes sure that the applications are okay as to form, but she does not check for felonies, she doesn't check residency, there's no legal requirement for her to do
Well, that's
that.
funny, 2 years ago, she disqualified me 11 days after the polls closed.
If
So
it's
what do you got to
non-form,
say to that, Goldie?
Zone form.
Yeah.
And
it-
content.
She
It
checks
doesn't, it
form.
doesn't matter. What she did is illegal.
No, it's not.
And you can call, don't sit there and say that, Brandy. You can call the Secretary of State, you can call Cheryl
Okay.
Johnson.
You want to talk to the gentleman?
Okay.
You can talk.
It's illegal what she did to me. And it's freaking embarrassing that the village has to go through this. 3 times in the last 2 years, you disqualified candidates. Funny, it's the same 2 damn candidates. Well, you can add Gary Kaufman to that. Because you don't like me, she don't like me, and you don't like Gary Kaufman, and she don't like Gary Kaufman. So you can judge that however you want. But you're a disgrace to that seat, and if she worked anywhere else, she would have been fired a long time ago for incompetence. Because that's her responsibility.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comments? Thank you. Consent agenda, all items marked on consent agenda with a single asterisk are considered routine by the city council and be acted upon in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member requests it. A, approval of the minutes of April 16, 2024 regular meeting and the April 25th, 2024 special meeting. B, Secretary of Treasurer's report, payment of bills for April 2024. C, investment officer report for April of 2024. Can I get approval to accept the minutes?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Alderman and Mayor and Alderman report. Reports are limited to items of the community interest as defined by the Texas Local Government Code, Section 551.0415. No action will be taken. Mayor's report. On the mayor's report tonight, we did engage with a delineation surveyor for the ponds, A and B,
Reserves.
reserves, and we'll be able to put that on the next agenda because it came too late to put on this agenda. Alderman's report, Neblett.
Just briefly, we started working on Windward Way, a little delay on weather, and getting the contractor out here, but they came and marked it up, and I believe they're gonna cut the road on Thursday. That's it.
Okay, Cunningham,
Nothing to report.
Scott,
Well, we're starting the process of the tax planning, tax rate planning process. And obviously the values of all the properties are up. And so, we'll be getting current reports of what the values are, and then we'll be using that to set the tax rate. And the dredging project is complete. And so we will be setting the INS debt tax rate based on the balance of what's left in that. And then there's also a little bit of money left, and we're gonna start in other words, the project didn't cost as much as the amount of CO that we did. So that will be starting to be refunded by way of a lower INS tax rate starting this year.
Walker,
2 things. I represent the city on the Health District's Animal Rescue Center, and we had a meeting, when was it, Thursday, where we're setting the budget for the following year. They have changed the format, actually, of how they're charging the cities that contract with them, which is a good thing. So it's going to be based more on usage as opposed to just population, which means our bill for them for the coming year is going to be about $1,300 less than it was. So Texas City got hit with a whopper. It's going to double what they're paying, but it's more equitably split. So, and the current CEO of the health district actually lives here in Tiki. He's not out there, Dr. Philip Kaiser. I've had a request from several citizens on information on the chemicals used in the mosquito spraying. So they would like to know. I'll get that Brady, if you just give me a contact, I'll ask them actually for the chemical breakdown,
Okay.
and then we can let people know what's in it. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Reports and presentation, fire department.
Fairly slow month for the fire department. 10 EMS calls, 5 were medical, 5 were motor vehicle accidents. There was 1 miscellaneous call for someone stuck in an elevator, and 1 canceled en route, for a total of 12 calls for the month.
Okay, thank you. Police report.
Calls for the month of April 2024, 2 alarm calls, 24 agencies assist, 6 citizens assist, 1 drunk intoxication person, 4 fire EMS calls, 2 supplement, 2 suspicious circumstances, 1 suspicious person, 1 suspicious vehicle, 1 traffic accident, 3 welfare checks, 24 traffic stop citations, 28 traffic stop warnings, total of 2 arrests, total of 53 calls.
Thank you. The building inspector is not here for the report tonight. Ordinance Review Committee report, we don't have one tonight. And the emergency management, he is in Lufkin at a fire seminar going to school. General business and action item. Consider to take action to appoint Mayor Pro Tem. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Okay.
Who would you like to appoint?
It's up to the council.
Who wants to be mayor pro tem?
I'm happy to do it. I've done it for years and would be happy to do it again.
Do you have the time?
I did.
Okay.
I recommend Hunter.
Okay, all in favor?
Hold on. Do your motion for him.
Oh, I
to become-
motion for Hunter Neblet to be appointed as mayor pro tem.
Okay. We have a motion,
I'll
need a
second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Keep
Congratulations, Hunter. Discuss and take possible action to approve amending Chapter 6, Article 3, Division 1, Section 6-34 and Section 6-35 to adopt the 2021 International Swimming Pool and Spa Code. Motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Go ahead.
Well, we kind of had a brief discussion at the last meeting about adopting the 2021. There were, to move some things over into it. And I guess if anybody has any questions, there's very little difference. If you'd like me to, I can be very brief and go tell you what it is. There's basically a construction fence is required in 2021, and it tells you it has to be 4 feet tall or whatever. So, and so we don't have to write that into another ordinance or something. And the other thing is they've changed the latch release mechanism, and it's just technical details. It tells you if the latch is on the outside of the fence or the inside of the fence, how tall it has to be and where it has to be and that kind of thing. And other than that, there's a couple of changes related to public pools, but I guess unless we get into the public pool business, we don't really have to worry about those. There's really only like 5 or 6 differences. And then if you look down at the bottom well, let's see. You have it in your packet, don't you?
Yeah.
So the bottom of page 7 of 8 is where basically we adopted on the first page, we say we're going to add the International Swimming Pool Code 2021 edition. And then there's a few minor just typos in here that we're cleaning up along with this. And that's literally what they are, typos, commas left out or whatever. And then at the bottom, we've got some revisions made that apply to the code. The first one is we insert the Village of Tiki Island where it says, who are you? And then we insert building department when it says who's going to manage this code. And then the Board of Appeals, section 112, this follows suit with many of the other codes where we delete a section, and we have our own section 6-134 that handles Board of Appeals. And I'll get back to you in a second.
Yep.
And then on section 113.4, related to violation of any of the provisions, it specifies out a penalty for anybody that violates the code, which is very similar to many other codes we have. The building, this is just essentially a building code. And then Patty has made a recommendation that we also amend section 111, and we will essentially delete it because in section 134, paragraph E, I think it is,
Yeah.
we say how we handle appeals. If you go back to page 1, under E, we have an appeals process spelled out. And basically, section 111 is all about appeals. So
And creating a board and all of that, which we don't need.
I think that's pretty good, just to make a minor change that will also eliminate section 111 and replace it with 146E, which is covered in there.
Alan, I had a question that's unrelated, I believe is unrelated to pools, but it's on 135, section 3. It talks about sprinkler systems in a group R fire area. I tried to do some research on that, and everything I could find said group R is where you might have infants or those who are disabled.
Where it says what?
Group R fire area.
Oh, group R, okay.
Yeah, section 3, second full paragraph,
Mhm.
90328. Throughout all buildings with a group R fire code will have a sprinkler system. And group R, as I could find it, was any place that would have infants or the disabled. And that didn't make sense to me. Because I once had an infant in my house and no sprinkler.
Well, you know,
I wonder, that might be the type of permit or a CO that they're issued. Could you tell? I don't know it. I'm
I
just.
couldn't
well,
tell.
it's called an occupancy group,
Mm-hmm.
group R. I haven't actually looked at that to know whether the verbiage in there, whether it says infants or whatever. I'm curious if this does not apply to 1 and 2 family dwelling units. So this is definitely a multi-family thing. These codes, they're like a spider web, but I think that probably applies to multifamily. For example, the condos that may be built at the marina or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I don't, as far as infants and disabled, I haven't actually seen that, but I don't doubt that you read that.
Okay.
But I think it would be infants and disabled in a multi-family complex.
Okay. That's the only comment I had.
Okay, so we'll make an amendment. Do I need to make an amendment?
Yeah, I would do your motion.
So I make a motion that we also include that we're going to delete section 111, and we're going to make a reference, just like in 112, we're going to reference section 6-134 of the Code of Ordinances. And section E is already sitting there waiting for us, like on the other codes.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. C, discuss and take possible action to approve amending Chapter 6, Article 3, Division 2, Section 6136 of the Building Code and Construction Code to define attached and roof requirements. Motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss. Any questions? So the brief history, I might have gone over this in January. There was an older ordinance that included decks and roofs over both houses. And then it was deleted and replaced in 2015 by, I guess it's 136. And somewhere in that process, roofs were left out. And so that left it wide open for defining what a roof is and how it can be built.
Yeah.
So what this is doing is essentially writing a spec where roofs can have a maximum 2.5 and 12 slope. And that's pretty similar. There's about 3 or 4 or 5 on Tiki. You'll see, usually it's a boathouse by itself out in the water, and it'll have a pitched roof on it with shingles. 90% of the houses here have a deck that you walk out on, but for those that don't, and so what it does, it prevents a 4 and 12 or a 6 and 12 pitch roof, this was originally, my assumption is this was originally done to preserve the view down the canals so that there's not a bunch of boathouses with essentially roofs on high pitch roofs. And we have cleared up, I've cleared up the name of the thing, boathouses, boat docks, and decks. And then there's a better definition of what attached means. So essentially the idea was, if it's yours, it's attached. It's either attached on a sidewalk or a walkway or electrical or plumbing or something. It's attached to your property, which means it's your boathouse and you have to follow these guidelines.
Yeah, it's a nice cleanup. Thank you for that. A motion to approve that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. D, consider and take action to approve 2024 calendar year budget calendar. Can I get a motion to discuss?
Motion to discuss.
Go ahead.
It's your show.
Okay, so these are the dates, and they've been set at regular meetings.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
then that way we won't have any special meetings for this. Just make sure that all of us can make it, or try to anyway. So if there's no discrepancy or any discussion on this, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion
We're okay,
approved.
you know I'm gonna miss one
Yes,
of those.
July.
We're still okay?
Yes.
It's not one that's a super quorum, is it?
June, right? Did you say June?
Which one? you
June or
missed?
July, Steve?
No. June is one unless,
Yeah, that's not super.
Okay.
July is the one I missed.
He's missing July.
Oh. Isn't that a problem?
As long as we have
We'll
four.
have someone appointed probably.
Okay.
If not, we'll have to move that one till when he gets back.
I'm good with it.
Okay? Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Discuss and take possible action to approve the bid for $9,500 from Mage Hauling for bulkhead repair under the bridge on the west side of the bridge. Motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Go ahead.
Steve Jefferson brought this to our attention. He's with the water department. If you all don't know Steve, the legend Jefferson, noticed some problems with our cap and some loss of material on the west side. The east side is the next agenda item. So we got a bid from May. The thing I will bring to your attention is the value here could fluctuate based on the number of tiebacks that he finds that need to be replaced. But if you're feeling brave and want to test your luck with the mosquitoes, go walk under the bridge, park at the marina gates and walk under the bridge, and you'll see where the material is sloughing off. We have a line, a horizontal line parallel to the bulkhead where the level of the earth is dropped. And so that material is going somewhere. We also have a washout at the north end and a crack a bad crack at the south end of the cap. So the proposal is to replace the cap, investigate the tiebacks, refill, and rebuild it. That obviously protects our bridge.
So is there a reason these aren't all tied together? Is it just sequencing of the work, or, I mean, why didn't we just roll into one approval?
I don't know how it ended up in two separate agenda items.
Well, one side was done and then the other side was noticed it needed work also. So he just submitted a second bid.
Okay.
And then if needed, you can break it up in several parts too. Okay? Any more discussion?
And this money is coming out of just our,
That will be addressed in item G, and the answer is contingency.
okay. That's it.
Okay? Any more discussion? Motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. F, discuss and take possible action to approve a bid of $26,000 from Mage Hauling for the bulkhead repair under the bridge, under the east side of the bridge. Motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss. On the east side, we have actually lost a significant portion of the cap, has sloughed off, and the rebar is exposed. So there again, we're gonna go in and investigate, replace the cap, and evaluate the tiebacks to make sure they're in good shape to preserve the integrity of our canal there and our bridge.
Define east. Closest to Valero?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why that feels like north and south to me. Yeah. The island is crooked. Yeah.
Motion?
Motion approved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. G, consider and take action to approve up to $54,000 from contingency for the bridge bulkhead repairs, $35,500 for repairs, plus an estimated $18,500 for fill materials and tiebacks, as the amount of fill dirt and tiebacks cannot be determined until the job is started. Motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss. So we do need to obviously pay for this. We do have contingency funds available. We have road funds available if something else happens and we need to do that. We haven't finished our road budget for the year, so that's available to cover contingency funds if we need to do something. I recommend that we revise this to 49,000 versus the 54, based on updated estimates of what we think we can get the dirt for. And it'll keep us under the $50,000 value.
So that's
Yeah.
13.5 for the dirt.
Right. And we'll provide updates as the job progresses and have the contractor keep us up to date with what his expected cost is going to be. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, budget workshop, discuss budget and take into consideration budget request.
Yeah, and hopefully it's already.
Motion to discuss.
Motion to discuss.
Okay, go ahead.
So I had emailed Brady about putting money in to start replacing the street signs that have lost their reflectivity.
Mhm.
So
That's it.
that's in there.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
Yeah, so, yeah, when I went through, I noticed that was in there. That really was the only one I had.
Did you have park benches in the?
Oh, yeah, I did. I was kind of hoping we'd do that this year, but the other pump reserve, you know, we put benches in, we took out the old wooden benches that were dangerous at the Reserve B, where the one closest to the back is, and put benches in, but we basically only have one at Reserve A, so I'd like for us to get a couple more of those benches. They're lovely too. They're nice, they're polywood, and put those in at the pond. There's a lot of people that walk with their dogs, and it'd be nice to have a place to sit, so I'd like to put in 2 over there, so those are good ones as well.
What are those cost back?
The benches were, do you remember how much the benches were? They're like 1,400 a piece roughly, is that right?
Well,
Yeah.
this is very preliminary. We could just make a note of things we want to put in there.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what
Sure.
she's doing.
Yeah.
Very, very
Just a
preliminary.
wish list.
Yeah, we have that. I brought up the water fountains as well. The comment back from this group was, shouldn't that be something that Tika would do?
Right.
I think that's a possibility. Again, it will be taking requests like that to Tika and getting them to plan that as well. But I wouldn't mind, I think it would be a great thing, whether we put it in the city budget or not, will be dependent on how much pushback I get from Tika,
Yeah.
including water fountains. And the water fountains are they're about 1,500 a piece. No, they're 3,000 a piece.
Yeah, I think they're about 5,000 installed.
Well, it's 3,000 pieces for the fountain, but we're not doing the chill, we don't need chilled water yet.
Right.
So it'd be $10,000 for 2 fountains.
Right.
One in each one, at each resort. I think that was it for mine at the moment.
Good?
My only comment is that particularly on the INS and the back, is very, very preliminary. I mean,
Right.
we're just getting started, and we have not much idea where the tax is going to go. I don't know if it's I was going to make a brief kind of a summary of where Bridget is okay to talk about appreciate the values right now.
Anything on budget for your?
Okay. If y'all are kind of done with the spreadsheet, I was just going to give a brief. So right now, as some people may know, it's time to fight your taxes. So there's a better term for that, appeal. Anyway, so that's still going on. I think you got till tomorrow to file an appeal of your taxes. But so anyway, but where we sit right now is the market value of all the properties. This is just kind of general information, kind of for interest. The market value for all the properties on Tiki is about $969,716,000. And then off of that, you have some homestead and some caps where they can only go up 10% a year or whatever. So that drops the what they call the net taxable value of the property to $783,084,000. And then when you take away, there's quite a few properties that are freeze adjusted for over 65, handicap, other things. It gets us down to about $630,472,000. That's the number that we work with whenever we set the tax rate on the M&O tax rate. And then I mentioned earlier, the dredge project will have a different tax rate based on what's owed and what's going to be refunded on it. But just for comparison, I'll tell you that, so the market value is, let's just say 970 million, the very, very early market value. 2023, it was 833 million. So we've gone from 833 million to 969 million. That's the retail price. Homestead, the net went from 692 million in 2023 to 783 million this year. So what's that, 90 million increase? And then from 2023, the frozen value, they call it, the frozen adjusted, 581 million. Looks like it's sitting right now around 630 million. So that's what happened with the value of all the appraisals this year. Everybody sitting here probably already knows that. So anyway, those are some numbers that we continue to get updates from the county, and it'll just go on and on. What do we just get? We get an update, like we got one like last month for last year. The more appraisals that come through, I mean, I keep saying that. What's the word I'm looking for?
Assessments.
No, when you challenge your taxes. Protest. Sorry, the protest, once those are all start to be settled out, then we start getting more and more numbers from the county. We get about every 2 months, we get another set of numbers. And so we tend to set our tax rate in such a way that if a lot of the appraisals, if the protests are successful, it won't put us in the red. We'll still have operating budget. So anyway, kind of a summary of where we stand.
The delineation surveys, does that need to go into next year's budget, or would that be coming out of
I would
our current budget and
say
contingency?
I think we ought to be able to get it out of this year's budget somewhere out of, because it's between $600 and $7,500 for both reserves.
For both reserve, okay, so we can take that, we can vote to take that. from-
Well, the proposals are in, we'll put it in on the next agenda for y'all to approve
Okay,
or deny.
okay.
Any more discussion on the budget?
Not for me.
Who's good?
No, sir.
No question.
Not right now.
All right, we're finished with that. Citizen comments, please state your name, comments limited to 2 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Natalie Sharon. Can you say again how we're going to fill the alderman position, and how are we going to notify the citizens that the election was a bust?
We'll put out in June, before the June meeting, they'll put out for people that would want to sit in the alderman's position, and they'll come up here.
Put out where? Put out where and how?
They'll put a public notice out for people to come, and anybody that wants to run for alderman, they'll be in from May to May 25. From June to May 25. The Board of Aldermen will vote and elect the person that does it. And so it'd be up to the 4 aldermen to put whoever comes in.
Golden, when you say public notice, is that, those are the ones that are posted?
We'll post them.
And
Yes.
then will it also be at
Yeah.
the village website?
Post that, you put it on the agenda.
Well, we'll put it on the agenda, but we can post for it, Caitlin. Yes, we're gonna post for it this time.
It's just-
So that
yeah,
way the
if
public
people don't-
knows, instead of just putting it on the agenda, not everybody knows reads the
Put it
agenda.
on the village website.
We can put it on the village
Comment on the
website.
village website.
That'd be good.
Since
Okay.
people don't know that it didn't count, people may not know to go look for that in public notice.
Okay, any other comments?
Yes?
Steve Hoffman, two questions. We ever gonna get lights on Neptune Circle? Because I'm watching people miss the curve and drive into the median at night. Number 2, we gotta do something with that elevator. When we have our board meeting, I got 3 people that can't make it up and down. We're having to literally carry them half the way. We gotta get that elevator fixed.
Okay, the elevator's been approved to be replaced, and I'll work with Centerpoint. I'll get ahold of Centerpoint and see about getting you some lights out there.
Appreciate it, thank you.
I think that they said about 6 to 8 weeks to order the elevator, and it's probably been 4 to 5 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe 4 weeks, so
We
once
have
it's
heard that at the
in.
last meeting. People have started asking me now, when they can expect a new elevator, so.
Okay? Any more comments? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Thank y'all.
I've only been
Steve,